तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We can study Krishna's life from three different angles. One, we study his life based on the events, history, with the empirical data we have. Chronological order, you can study his life. This is what is born here, this and all that. That is one way of studying his life. Another way of studying his life is events of his life is metaphoric. Metaphorically you study. Like, for example, Kalinga and Ardhana, you take. You can study Kalinga and Ardhana from the angle of event happened in life of Krishna, or you can read it as metaphorically what is the meaning of it, or you can study it from metaphysics. There are three different angles it has. Metaphysically, what is it? There is this Gandharva who is born there, and then this man was, this person was cursed, as a result of which he had become the snake, and the snake always had a problem with Garuda. Therefore, he wanted a hiding place. So he came and hid himself in this Yamuna river, in this place. That is not his original place. These are all metaphysics. There's no, sort of my mythological, more of, my mythology point of view. So you can study Krishna's life, or for that matter, Rama's life, or any one of the scriptural things that we have. You can study that from all these three angles. Now, if you take Krishna's life, sir, immediately you ask the question, sir, you would say Krishna really happened. And we say yes, there are evidences we have for that. And it's a research by itself. Now remember, what I am telling is, after I have not done that research, I am only giving you the research done by somebody else. There are people who have done tremendous research. And based on that research, we have certain events, certain aspects of Krishna's life. For example, we have a chronological order of age of Krishna. He is supposed to have lived for about 107 or 108 years. Now, sometimes we get this confusion. Are you going to give the age of completed year or running year? If you take running year, it is 108. If you take it as completed year, it is 107. 107 was the age of Krishna. This is one group. This is one way of analysis, one way of conclusion. There is another group of people who have done that study, and they have certain evidences. Based on that, they come to conclusion that Krishna must have been about 125 years. This is another group of people. Right. This 107 is the research of Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya, who is the one who established Madhva tradition, Dvaita philosophy. He has written a commentary for Mahabharata. Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnayam is the text. In that he defines. And what is that date? This all that we have. And then there are another modern research scholars, they say this is not 107, it is 116. There is one group. There is another group which says it is 101. Another group. Dr. Vartak, he gives one. He gives a beautiful analysis. I'm not going into how they come out this, but it is so interesting to see. Of that, what I found very interesting is Madhvacharya's one. Even though this Bhagavatam says it is 125 years, say. And what is the birth date? Now, today is New Year, say. So immediately everything has to be given according to that. So I thought we'll start from there. What is the date? The birth date of Krishna, say, is 17th or 18th of June. Because don't ask me how can we be born in 2 days. Because Krishna is supposed to have been born at the 12 o'clock, midnight. So if you take 12 o'clock noon, night, will you add it in this one or that one? I don't know. Therefore, I'm just saying, 17th or 18th. 18th midnight you can say, or 17th midnight you can say, or 18th morning you can say. Either case it is. And the year they give is this, 5633 Common Era. June 17. So all those who are born on June 17, 18 can say, see, yeah, we share the same date. Say. Right. And because it is established there, they give that specific one given in the scriptures. This I am giving according to our the calendar that we are using now. So this is BCE, before Common Era, and he has lived for that period of time. How is they have a methodology of using this trilogy concept they have. Concept based on that, the events that are major events that occurred in Krishna's life. They take that. And when you take those things into account and equate all that, and they take a couple of things. One is, there is a direct record we have of Krishna's age when he killed Kamsa. He was 11 years old. So which means, minus that, it is 22. Right. So that must have happened in 5622. I suppose you all understand how BC works. It goes in reverse. Right. Year added means year getting subtracted there. So the year will come, reduction it will come in Common Era, this one. Before Common Era, yes. So which means Krishna's birth was about 7,500 years back. What we are studying, what we are trying to understand is 7,500 year old history. Right. So then the next one they take is, see, all these calculations were based on very many archaeological research. Remember, it's not just, now don't think archaeology immediately, don't say somewhere they went and excavated and they found. Now we have very, very poor understanding of archaeology. Archaeology is not done in the site. 95% of archaeology happens in the library. Now we think archaeology, immediately, you think Indiana Jones. You have to go and, fight something here, there, pick up something and come back. Relics you bring. That is not archaeology, please. Archaeology is a research done based on very many aspects. And Madhva gives very many, rules there in that. Evidences he gives. Next one they take into consideration is the Mahabharata War. And there itself they precisely fix the date on which Kali Yuga started. The starting date of Kali Yuga is fixed. The 18th day of Mahabharata War is the day on which Kali Yuga begins. The beginning of that is that. And then you start viewing it, you start seeing it after a period of time. See, it's like conception and birth. Right, there is a period, no? Similarly, there is a period. Then this Mahabharata war beginning. During this Mahabharata war, Krishna is supposed to be 72 years. Right. And then after that Mahabharata war, 36 years Krishna lived, and then the great flooding happened in Dwaraka and the whole city submerged, and Krishna also died. If you add all this events and arrive at a conclusion, we get 107 years. It comes to around 5525 is a period. The flooding of Dwaraka, and for which we have lot of evidences from very many places. That great tsunami we say, and the ocean level, ocean level is very different at that time compared to what it is now. So the land, level and the ocean level are all very different. So these are all more of archaeological study for us. But you can read like this also. You can start how they decide all these things is based on the discussions that they have been having on the constellations of the stars. Kamsa, he must have killed Kamsa at that time. Why? Because Kamsa has a conversation with his minister, and the minister is reporting about the constellation. Look at the constellation now. This constellation is coming like this. If this constellation is happening, it has an impact. He says that. Now, based on that constellation, we come to. And that particular constellation has not happened in our records of astronomy for the last 10,000 years. That is only once it has happened. We don't have anything else happening. And they are pointing out to an asteroid which is covering 13 stars. You know that, no? There are 27 stars. In that, to a naked eye, at any given point of time, you can see 13. Another 13 is not, other things you can't see. 14 is not visible, but 13 is visible to us always. Which 13 is the fight, but 13 is visible. He says this asteroid has covered that entire 13. See, we are not able to see any one of them. Is that all this? There was an exhaustive study done by Dr. Nilesh. Yeah, fascinating man. Oh, I really love him for that amount of research you have to do, and the evidences he provides like this. He gives evidences of over about 100 evidences he gives to establish, and then we claim that we people don't know how to keep records. You guys know how to keep records far better than the modern ones. Their ability to keep the things. So here it is like, you can read like this. You can study, life of Krishna as a historical figure. What happened in his period, and then at what time this, Kandava Dahana, that forest, they burn the forest, they destroy the forest and build a city there. Kandava Dahana happens because that happens along with Arjuna and Krishna together. They do it. At what age that happens, and then at what age he went to Sandipani to study, how long he studied there. There was a period. See, he's around 16 or so when he went there. Because after killing Kamsa, he was still enjoying his life in Mathura at home only. Celebration. After 16 only, Vasudeva thinks, my God, I have to send this boy to school, no? Yes. That is the time he gets associated with his friend Sudama. Sudama and Krishna became friend only in Sandipani's ashram. Then he is studying there. And then he comes out. After he is coming out, he goes and then he establishes Dwaraka. Then after Dwaraka comes Mahabharata War, and Mahabharata War, and then series of events, and then finally Dwaraka city flooded, submerged, the ocean. chronological events. Another way of studying is to study Krishna's life more in terms of natural human. You see, psychological aspect of it. Then we have this metaphoric way of studying it. Metaphorically, what does it mean? So here, our focus is not much in terms of the chronological things. What is the year, whether it is 17th or 18th June, I don't care. But it is better to know that. Why you have to know this is because there is one constant complaint we have to face, that you people don't keep records clearly. History is not maintained clear. I say our history is very primitive compared to the way in which these people recorded their history. The record of the Krishna's life is recorded in many texts, like Vishnu Purana records, Bhagavata Purana records, Mahabharata records, and then apart from all these things we have Harivamsa. That is a record we have. Harivamsa gives a different account of Krishna's life. Certain aspects of Krishna's life is given there. Certain accounts are given in this. Harivamsa is the, appendix to Mahabharata. Harivamsa is also written by Vyasa, another text. Whatever the things that he has missed out, certain things are missed out in Mahabharata. Vyasa realizes that, my God, I missed out these aspects. So let me give account of Krishna's. There, mostly the account of this Yadava Kula was explained more. That's why it is referred as Harivamsa, the text. There is account of Krishna is given very nicely. So if you want to understand Krishna's life, you have to refer only to these books. And then came very many localized, vernacular folk stories, depending upon their fancy, depending upon the way they wanted to portray Krishna. Each one started portraying Krishna's life in a particular fashion. But if you want to know Krishna's life, what you have to do is you can't read one. See, if you want to know Rama, one book is enough. Valmiki Ramayana, you read, that is enough for you. You don't need to worry about anything else. Right? You get complete account. The problem here we have with reference to Krishna is there is no one textbook we have which gives a complete account. Bhagavatam, you may say, isn't it giving a complete account, sir? No. Because Bhagavatam gives Krishna's from one angle. Mahabharata depicts Krishna from another angle. The Krishna of Bhagavatam is very different from Krishna of Mahabharata. Now, which Krishna you are going to follow now? That becomes a problem for us. Because Bhagavatam Krishna is God. In Mahabharata, time and again you will see this. Krishna comes to meet the Pandavas. Scene will be described very clearly there. That Krishna will go and prostrate to Yudhishthira and prostrate to Bhima. Then Arjuna will be standing. He will go and hug Arjuna. And turn around, Nakula and Sahadeva will come and prostrate to Krishna. Follow this carefully. Right? Krishna arrives. He gets down from the chariot. As soon as he gets down from chariot, these 5 brothers go and receive him. The moment he saw Yudhishthira, first thing Krishna does is he goes and prostrates to him. It's there in Mahabharata. Not once. Remember, not once I'm saying. Every time. Every meeting, Vyasa ensures that he records it. Now, This Krishna we cannot understand. They say, no, what is he doing? Why? Because Bhima and Yudhishthira are elder to Krishna. Since they are elder to him, what he is doing? He goes and prostrates. Arjuna is of same age. So what is he doing? Hug him. Nakula Sahadeva is younger to Krishna. So what do? They come and prostrate to him. He blesses them. Please bless me. They come and ask him. He blesses those people. So this is the Krishna that is portrayed in Mahabharata. This Krishna is very difficult for us to understand from Bhagavatam point of view. Because in Bhagavatam, Krishna is who? Incarnation of God. He is God there, straight away. There is no second thought in that. You see? So when you are reading Krishna, be careful. That way, Rama is little easy. Krishna is far more complex for us, not because he is complex. The angle from which we are going to see him, he is complete in that angle. You can treat him from any angle. You can see Krishna from any angle. He is complete in that. Say there's a person, asked a quick question about Krishna and Jarasandha. After Kamsa being killed, Kamsa's father-in-law was Jarasandha. And he had a very powerful army. His army, he had a strong army, and he himself is a very powerful fellow, Jarasandha. And Jarasandha started attacking Mathura time and again. And there is a constant conflict between Mathura and Jarasandha state. These two states. Because both the states were thriving on trading. Remember, both of them were thriving on trading. If they have to do the trading, Mathura people have to carry their goods to a port. They have to pass through Jarasandha state. And he was not allowing. Therefore, there is a constant fight between these two fellows. And every time Jarasandha comes, whenever he feels bored, entertainment for him was that. Entertainment is attack Mathura. It's really boring here. He says, okay, let's go and attack Mathura. And he will come, attack Mathura and go away. And every time he comes and attacks Mathura, Krishna and Balarama were not able to fight. So Krishna and Balarama had to flee from the battlefield not once, 7 times. There's another account I have read, 16 times. There are 2 accounts. But I don't care whether it is 7 or 16, doesn't matter. But what is the proof we have is Krishna is not concerned. Now you see this Krishna, and suddenly you see that Krishna showing Vishwarupa darshan. And Vishwarupa itself, he shows, it's like left, right, center in Krishna avatar. He shows Vishwarupa darshan to Uttanga Rishi, he shows Vishwarupa darshan to Narada, he shows Vishwarupa darshan to Yashoda, he shows Vishwarupa darshan to Dhritarashtra, he shows Vishwarupa darshan to Arjuna. Anyone comes, he will show. Now you look at that Krishna and this Krishna, you can't reconcile. Now, the one who subscribes to the Krishna, who is Yogeshwara, right? You treat him as Yogeshwara, a Krishna fleeing from battlefield from fearing Jarasandha. Looks doesn't sound nice to our ears, and that's where Krishna stands as a complete being, Purna Avatar, we say. Why Krishna is portrayed as Purna Avatar, even superior to even Rama. Yes? Rama will stand in the battlefield. If he cannot win over, he will die, but he will not flee from the battlefield. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna says, see, if I see the opponent is more powerful than me, what am I supposed to do? Don't be stupid enough to go and hit your head against the wall and break, bleed and die. He says, that's not sensible way of living. Sensible way of living is what? Withdraw. Get your strength. Find that weakness. And he was not able to find any weakness in Jarasandha's army. His army strength was far, far superior to what Krishna had with him. After 7-8 times of defeat, he understood the weakness of Jarasandha. What is the weakness he had? His army was powerful, but his navy was pathetic. He was not having a strong navy with him. That is the time Krishna decides to move away from Mathura and establish Dwaraka island, far away. And there are records they have where they had a bridge connecting to the mainland. From the city Dwaraka to the mainland, there is a bridge. Flyover we have, no? Have you seen in Bombay? A flyover they have. And they are saying, wow, what a great, this man has done it 7,500 years back. But he was not having, Jarasandha was not having, and Jarasandha had his own history. Jarasandha's birth itself was a very unique one, because his father was worshipping a Rakshasi by name Jara. He was a worshipper of that Rakshasi by name Jara. And his wife got pregnant. The pregnant wife gave birth to one child or two child they couldn't identify, because there are two different bodies, only half grown, and it is not alive, it's dead. Stillborn we say, nowadays. It was a stillborn child. A stillborn child, what will they do? What to do with that now? In our tradition, a child is not cremated. They bury, So they have taken that child to the burial ground. The burial ground is the living space of that Rakshasi by name Jara. She gets the smell of a baby. The moment it gets that smell of a male child, she comes rushing. When she comes rushing, these people who have gone there for cremation get so scared and leave that body of the child and run away. And she sees these two half body, and she takes both the bodies in her hands, and he attaches them. Those two gets attached and the child starts crying. And that cry of the child and the weight of the child this lady was not able to bear. She drops in. He says, my God, what are you, man? What are you now? And the child was taken by her and given to the king. Why? Because the king was worshipping her. She says, this is my gift to you. It's your child only. He is born now. So you be alive. Now, this Jarasandha is the one who grows and becomes a king over a period of time. And then Krishna had to find out a way to kill this Jarasandha, because you can't call him for an open battle and fight. No way possible. So he aligns with Bhima, and Bhima, Arjuna and Krishna go to his country. Madha is the country, I remember. I think that's the state. I'm just missing all that, geographical, that states actually. It's in between, It is, Hastinapur is here, Dwarka is here, this is in between. So this Jarasandha always had a problem with Hastinapur also, always had a problem with these guys also. Because for all of them to come this side, they have to pass through this guy only. So that's where the problem was. So they had to get his support. So the fight was always there. So when Yudhishthira decides to perform Rajasuya Yaga, that is a time Krishna says, look here, Rajasuya, if you want to perform, all other kings will agree. But this Jarasandha will not agree. He will challenge you. And if he challenges you fellows, you have no way to fight over. Not possible. So some pact was there, so he is not disturbing you guys. But otherwise he is. So what to do? We will go and call him for a wrestle. One-on-one. Wrestle, we invite him. On the wrestle, we have to kill him. When these three fellows go to this Jarasandha, Jarasandha was asking them, what is that you want? Because these three go in the form of a Brahmin. As the form of a Brahmin, these three guys enter that city and they go to the palace and request an appointment to meet him. He says, yes, what do you want? He says, we want a bhiksha. What is a bhiksha you want? They say, we want a yuddha bhiksha. We wanted to fight with you. You can choose. The moment he saw these guys were coming and asking him for this yuddha bhiksha, he understood immediately. He says, who are you? I had to know who I am fighting, wrestling with. That is the time they reveal that this is Arjuna, I am Krishna, this is Bhima. And Jarasandha says, Arjuna is a child. I can't fight with a child alone. Krishna, you have, fearing me, you have been running all the time. Now I can't fight with you. If I fight with you, it's a insult to my valor. So I choose Bhima. And then in that wrestle, Bhima kills Jarasandha. The wrestle goes for, that fight goes for 28 days. Whole morning they will fight. In the night they will dine together. Morning they fight, night having a dinner together. In the dinner, the conversations are recorded there. In the dinner, each one will be telling the other how they had a fight. What move he made, what mistake he made, and how boosts himself. All that is recorded there. Very, very interesting to read. See, the problem we have, we read only the abridged versions. The abridged versions, when we read, you never get an idea of what is actually going on there. The fight goes on and on and on, 28 days, and every time Bhima is killing him, this fellow comes back to life again, comes back to life again, comes back to life again. That is the time Krishna gives him a clue. He says, what you have to do is tear him to two pieces and throw the left to the right and right to the left. Then the body will not get attached. He will not come back to life. That's the only way to kill him. He says. But Krishna has no fear. He flees, but not out of fear. Even if you say, yes, it is fear, Krishna will not have any problem in acknowledging fear in him. Now, it's very difficult for us to understand that Krishna. So we think, why? How can Krishna be scared? Remember, throughout the Gita, what is the teaching of this? Treat success and failure equal. Don't boost yourself in success. Don't get dejected in failure. Now it is a time for him to fail in the battlefield. Fail in the battlefield and go back. What is, that has got nothing to do with your personality. If it is there, accept it. Now this is the remarkable difference between Krishna and all other masters. You see, all other masters never accepted life in totality. If you see in Krishna's life, a group of people who are there praising Krishna to the skies. Equally, you have other group of people who are denouncing Krishna to gross criticisms and censures and things he has to listen to, insult. How much of insults Krishna has to go through? Nobody pays attention to it. But we are so sympathetic towards the insult given to Karna. Right? All those insults were, you go there, that's what you will get. Now, it's like this man, prepared. Recently, a few years back, we had one wedding here, one minister's wedding in Bangalore. Somebody's wedding, and they say he had spent around 400 crores or something for that. Some figure. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just saying it. Reddy. Yes. Janardhan Reddy. Janardhan Reddy. There. 200 crores, 100 crores, 400 crores also. The highest one I heard is 400 crores. There are people who say 400 I said it's only 150 crores. I said, what? One fellow was telling me 400 I said, one of the class I was referring. I said, less, it's only 150 crores. Imagine he has prepared. That whole preparation, everything was done there. Suddenly, I walk in and say, my wedding also, can you conduct there? What is the response I will get? Get lost only, no? Whose mistake is that? Whose mistake is that? The royal family has engaged a teacher, and the royal family is engaging a demonstration to the public to show what their prince have learnt. Right? They are not establishing a competition there. They are not fixing a competition there, remember. That is a convocation. Convocation in those days were done like that for those people, and they wanted to show to the public that what they have learned. So they are qualified. They have to convince the public, no, that this man is qualified to run the state. How do you convince? He can protect us. How do you convince them? You can't say, go and fight first and then prove. Say, before fight itself, I have to know you are qualified. No. So like that, the selectors will be sitting there and they will be called to watch a local match, isn't it? Before they get selected to the national team. Like that they were preparing, they were showing something. Suddenly in between, this fellow walks in and says, Arjuna, come on, let us compete. Obviously, what is the question will be asked? Who are you to challenge now, first of all? Correct, no? Who are you is what they will ask, no? In those days, the question, who are you, will be asked in a particular way. Correct? How do you introduce yourself? Today, how do you introduce yourself?
I'm CEO or something.
Yeah. Because today, we identify ourselves from our profession. What I do. Right? What do you do? That's what, when delivery time, that lady, that nurse, were asking. You have to give record, for that registering birth certificate. For that, profession. Father's name, he said Ishwaran, Kritika. Profession? I said, Pravachan. Put it as Pravachan. Permanently? Permanently, no group of Pravachan, they are asking. I said, you have to organize this. Permanently, where will I give? We keep giving, different places only, lectures on all that. Permanent or no permanent? What job is that? Yeah. She started, she forgot that, record. She started asking me, Pravachana, enna பண்ணுவீங்க? I said, I teach. Where? She thought I'll go to school and teach. I said, no, school. Which school? I said, school. It's not school. Then I go to houses and teach. Pujari, no, ma, I don't do pujas and all that. I am not doing that. Appa? She said. So much of confusion. Today we understand ours as what we do. What is your job? That's what you put in your visiting card. In his days, visiting card is what? First of all, what you people should understand is why they did not give like that is because there is not so much of job itself, first of all. Isn't it? How many professions were existing in his period? How many professions? Maximum 20. Beyond the 20, there is nothing much. You see? The moment you say, I'm going to study, they'll say, okay, go to Gurukula, finished. Problem solved. That fellow is removed. Now, suddenly Arjuna, these fellows are showing, suddenly one fellow walks in from the audience and says, Arjuna, come, let us fight. I challenge you. Okay. Who will agree? But today we criticize. Oh, that's very wrong to do that. He shouldn't have asked. He should have allowed. I say, who will you allow? Huh? Can you just walk into that wedding and say, let my wedding also happen here? If you want to have your wedding, you organize. Don't try to come to a place where I have gathered people and I am giving. It's like, in a lecture, one fellow comes and let's go for a debate on Krishna. Imagine one fellow walks in now in the class and asks, Ishwaran, can we have a debate on Krishna? I'll say, this is not the time for that. Who are you, first of all? Why do you want to debate with me? From where are you coming? All those questions will be asked. The way in which they ask what the information that they want is their prerogative. Isn't it? What is information I wanted to know from you is my prerogative. Now you cannot be defining, why are you asking that question to me? It's like you go to an interview and ask that fellow, why are you asking that question? Don't ask that. Ask some other question. It is an insult. Karna felt insult. But he has caused it. He is the one who asked for it. If at all he wanted to challenge Arjuna, he should have secretly or personally approached Arjuna and asked him, look here man, can we come for a duel? If Karna is so interested to prove that he is better than Arjuna, then he could have easily asked him, no, personally. Why he didn't want to do that? Why he wanted to come in public and challenge? Right? Karna thought what? I have cornered Arjuna. Because in front of public when I have asked, if Arjuna says no, then what happens? Right? Imagine Arjuna fights and defeats Karna. Then also what happens? Imagine I go and challenge Mike Tyson. Not now. Okay. When he was in peak. In his 23. When Mike Tyson was 23. Imagine, I go and challenge him. And he accepts the challenge and comes now. The sheer acceptance of him is a proof of what? I am great. He has acknowledged it. And if Mike Tyson knocks out Ishwaran, that means what? That doesn't add anything to the greatness of Mike Tyson. It is actually what? Everyone will criticize it. And one look at that fellow, can't you make out? He doesn't know the meaning, he doesn't know the spelling of boxing. Anyone who comes and challenges will agree, is it? Don't you have brains? Will you not ask that to him? The chances of two events like this is more than the chance of Arjuna losing to Karna. First of all, that platform is not for that. If at all he is so interested, he could have approached directly and asked him, hey, let's compete, man, let's see who is better. Arjuna is not going to say no for that. After he refuses, then you can go, maybe. No, there's no problem at all. But unnecessarily, this guy goes there and says, how dare? How wrong to ask me all these questions? Why are you asking me about all that? Obviously, no. If I go and challenge, my Mike Tyson, obviously they will ask. Where have you boxed? Have you done anything? What are the titles you have? I said, I don't have any title. I just saw you first time. Boxing, I got so interested. No. He's not going to agree for that. When Mike Tyson is not agreeing to fight me, what is the meaning of that? He got scared? Same way. This we discuss a lot, whereas the insults Krishna has to go through. Do you have any records of that? Have you heard anyone feeling sorry for Krishna for no fault of his? He is criticized. See, this lady Gandhari, she could not do anything when these guys were playing dice game. She did not do anything when her son tried to kill them, locking in the palace, wax palace. She didn't do anything. And when they wanted to divide that property, she gave this, Dhritarashtra gave all the useless land. Barren land he gave. That is the Kandavana. He gave the forest to these fellows and said, you keep that place for you. All the cities for me, forest is for you. That's what he gave. And what if she is so dharmic, this lady, personification of dharma, were to be Gandhari, what she should have done? But I said, what nonsense. She didn't interfere. She didn't interfere when they were playing the dice game. When they decided to play the dice game, she didn't interfere. She didn't interfere when they decided to drag the daughter-in-law of the house to the assembly. She didn't interfere. When Krishna came personally seeking peace, as a peacemaker, when he came and appealed to them for peace, they said, look here, no, you cannot be doing this. That is a promise you gave. Return, give back. And when he asked, okay, if you are not willing to give back the entire property, give at least 5 villages. If not 5 villages, at least give 5 village, house. Right? This is the extent to which Krishna came to discuss. Right? In Mahabharata War also, what did Krishna do? What did Krishna do? He was just riding a chariot. That's all he was doing. Whenever there is an advice to be given, he was giving some advice here, some advice there, something he was talking. But even before that war itself to begin, the slimy things were all done by who? Backdoor. Business was started by who? Duryodhana fellow started it. Thinking as though they are being very smart. Smartly he cheated, no. The cheating has started from his side even before the war could begin. Shalya, for example, I am just giving. Shalya was uncle of Nakula and Sahadeva. Shalya. And he was coming with his entire army to support the Pandavas. And Shalya's army was a huge one, and Shalya himself is a great, warrior. Yes. Atirata he is supposed to be. That man, when he was coming, Duryodhana keeps very many camps in between to take care of those fellows. The army, because army has to travel, no? All along they have to travel and come to this spot. When they are traveling, they need to be taken care of. No, every day they have to rest, they have to be fed. He prepares all that and gives everything. And he ensures that don't tell him who is doing it. Right? Who's doing it? And he will keep enjoying the hospitality. Let him enjoy the hospitality for a long period of time. And one day, when he gets so excited that I give my life to this sort of a hospitality. Because Shalya was under the impression that it is all organized by the Pandavas. Because everyone knows that he is coming to join that side. Entire battalion, one full Akshavani of army was supposed to be in the side of the Pandavas. Very cunningly, without his knowledge, he just takes it away from the Pandavas and asks them to join the Kaurava army. War has not started yet. What did Gandhari do at that time? Did she object for that? He says, what nonsense, man. Behave yourself.
She was knowing everything.
Obviously, she should know, no? That's why you are a queen. Now you can't say, I am a queen, but I will not know anything. That's what significantly she did one thing. What is it? She blindfolded herself. Conscious blindfolding yourself is what? I don't want to look in that direction. If I look in that direction, it is problem for me. Therefore, escapistic thought. Then after all this is being killed, finally she curses Krishna. She did not curse the Pandavas. She did not curse Draupadi. Unnecessarily, Krishna has to suffer the curse. And the beauty is, even though he knows 100%, he could have easily argued with her. Tell me, what is the mistake that I have done? What is a mistake my battalion has done? What is a mistake of people of Dwaraka? She says your entire clan will get wiped out. Like how my kids, all my 100 kids are passed away. Now what did Krishna do there? Did he instigate? Did he come and say, hey, you two guys fight, man? You kill him like this, you kill him like that. What did he do? He is not the person. But for unnecessarily, he has been, even today, we have a lot of, people, so-called intellectuals, analytics. They curse Krishna for the Mahabharata War, as though he is the cause of it. One thing what people don't realize is, you don't understand the meaning. All that you need to understand is just the meaning of this one thing. What is the meaning of a man going as a peacemaker? What does it mean? If you know that, you will understand the greatness of Krishna. Who is Krishna? Story only. Okay? Don't say he's Bhagavan, God, and all those things. Who is Krishna? He's the king of Dwaraka. Okay? Even though Balarama was the actual king, he is in charge of, he's like home minister. Home minister, come finance minister, come defense minister, external affairs minister, all put together is Krishna. Prime minister is Balarama. For all purpose, who is running that country was only Krishna, actually speaking. Balarama was there, he says, hey, you take care. Not that he doesn't know how to take care, right? When you are there, why should I break my brains? Such a person decides to go as a peacemaker. And when you go as a peacemaker, there are rules. To the when you go, there are rules there. You see, one of the rule is he is supposed to be carrying a placard. You know that? He is supposed to carry a placard on his, like we have now, the thing as a ID. We are hanging, no? Like that he is supposed to be hanging in those days. The placard from the place where he starts to his place and come back. He is supposed to carry that. During which time he is not supposed to indulge in certain things. He is not allowed to do certain things. He is allowed to live a particular lifestyle only. Rules are there. Adhering to the rules only, Krishna is not going to the party of organized by Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. So when he comes to Hastinapur, he says, I am not going to come to your house. Then Bhishma says, come to my house. Come to my palace. Krishna says, no, I can't come to your palace also. Then where he goes? Now he goes to Vitura's place. Who is Vitura? He's a cousin, we say, but he is not living he was not given a palace. Remember, even though Dhritarashtra's brother he is, younger brother, technically speaking. But practically speaking, who was he? He is a maidservant. So that house provided to him will be outhouse only. He was living in outhouse. In those days, living in outhouse means what? Living in a hut. That's what it means. You see, he was not living. He has to go there only. Because why? When you go as a peacemaker, you cannot do, not like today what you see in the movies. You see in the movies, Vitra is also living in some big palace. This is how they show. A very, very, very wrong understanding. Why will anyone do that? Huh? Any president of a country, will he go putting himself to this low level? They will not be treated equal. You know that? That is why Ravana did not give a seat for Hanuman. You know that? Ravana was speaking to Hanuman in the Rajaniti. The rule is the peacemaker cannot be offered a equal seat. They'll put one stool and say, sit there. You're tired, no? Sit there. That's about it. More than that, you are not going to be treating him like Atiti. When a guest comes, he will be treated with a proper seat, and then Pada Puja will be done depending upon who that person is, and then give him all that, comfort him, and then start the inquiries. That is not the way you get the treatment for a person who is coming as a peacemaker, as a messenger. A messenger will be treated as only what? Like a delivery boy will be treated as what by you? The rule of Amazon, What? The delivery boy cannot step in to your house, you know that? He can leave that day. You may say, hey, it's too heavy, man, can you just put it inside and then go? He will say, no, sir, I cannot come in. We are not allowed. Pizza delivery boy, he is not allowed to eat that pizza. Recently we had one boy, who was stuck in the lift for 3 days. He was stuck in the lift. The pizza was there with him. The boy didn't eat. I said, amazing fellow. He must have been Krishna's student. To the role. He comes to this extent. Forget about what he spoke, how eloquently he spoke for peace, how nicely persuaded them, why you should not go for fight. All that he spoke. Gandhari was there, no? Sir, when Rukmini sends a message to Krishna telling, please come and take me. If you are not coming, I will commit suicide. You better come and take me. And Krishna didn't want to make a scene out of that place. Therefore, he quietly goes, abducts and takes her. At that time, there is a group of people come and fight. You know who are all in the list? One fellow all of you might know. Ekalavya. Ekalavya comes and fights with Krishna to save Rukmini. Along with this Rumi and other fellows, his, Rukmini's brother, those guys and all that. One of the guys who come along with this Ekalavya comes along with his people also. Because they are all have come for the wedding. Because he is not they are not in favor with this country. These details Allah we don't know. We simply criticize. We say, why did Ekalavya was not taught by Dronacharya? How can Drona take the thumb of Ekalavya? He's such a great student he is. And we have award also in his name as a good student. He is a pathetic student to be ever had. Because we don't understand what is the meaning of it. You see, that is where we say you read these things with the originals and understand what is the politics there, what is the intricacies there. Without that intricacies, don't go by this abridged versions and come to conclusions. And particularly when you are coming to a critical conclusions. And Krishna has no problems. That's why if he has to flee from the battlefield, he will flee. Say, what's wrong in that? Why not? Of course, he is powerful than me, man. He acknowledges, he appreciates, he registers. That is a sportsmanship. You take life sportive. That's what they do, no? This batsman. I don't see nowadays. Earlier days, they used to see. The batsman will appreciate the bowler's ball when he beats. Getting out is not the real fun. The real fun in bowling, in the test match, you see, is to beat that batsman. He will go for that stroke, the ball will just move away from him. And when a batsman sees a bowler has delivered a ball which completely taken by surprise, a batsman you will see appreciating him. Similarly, bowlers would appreciate a stroke of a batsman. They stand and appreciate. And they go. That's sportsmanship. Today, we don't have, in sports itself, there's no sportsmanship. I don't know where else you would expect. It's like all ulta, Like we say, we expect temples to be secular. I said, nada. Paityama is it? See, we want a temple to be secular. Then what is the meaning of it? Which means what? He doesn't know the meaning of temple, he doesn't know the meaning of secularism also. Both we don't understand. Krishna was taking whole life in a sportive way. That's why we call it as Leela. Sport. In a sport, defeat is what? You don't go and sit and cry. Oh, you don't cry. You will join the party along with the person who has won. You see, you celebrate it. You should learn that, actually. At least I have seen that in tennis in those days, but now even that is not there. Latest one I saw only in the Miss Universe competition. There they scream. That's all drama. Nothing happening feeling inside. They are supposed to do that. And when a winner is announced, there are four ladies, girls standing there. One will be announced as a winner. Other three are supposed to do what? They are supposed to celebrate and get excited. They have to put up an act. They are not feeling it internally. But at least they have to put up an act at least. Now Krishna generally feels, this guy is far, far superior to me. He flees the battle. You can't fight him. And if you cannot fight with him in his place, in this manner, let us move. He shifts the entire country. He relocates. Completely. Like I knew one fellow relocated from Bangalore to Delhi. And he was telling me, he said, relocation, what has happened with us? He said, along with me, I have taken 800 employees of mine, relocated. 800 fellows from Bangalore. located to Delhi now. I said, fantastic. 800. Krishna has relocated the city itself. He built a new city there, Dwarka. Fascinating one. Escaping. One fearing this guy, that's all. And Krishna has no problem fearing. He has no problem in facing failure. Now, we have not met any master who had failed. There's a failure in their life we never see. You see, Krishna is the lone master in the world, a spiritual giant who had that to encounter failure, encounter insult, and continue the work. Buddha was insulted, he won't even care. He'll go away. That's all. You see, but he will not enter into the life at all actually. Buddha's way of dealing with it is leave. Krishna's way is totally different. He says, live, not leave. Live with those people. Interact, it's easy, That's what Schopenhauer says. It is easy to die for your idol, but it's very difficult to live for your conviction. It's easy to die. I die for it. More difficult thing is to live for it.
How do you distinguish between is going away like Krishna did, that is assessing your strength and leaving, realizing that you don't have the strength, and stretching yourself to your maximum? How do you distinguish between the two?
See, when do you decide to withdraw? Is when you can see there is no way you can win over. You withdraw.
But that's an assessment.
That's an assessment. You understand. And there's no need to feel shame. Krishna says, if he says, if you feel ashamed, feel ashamed also. So what? He says, you feel ashamed, no doubt about it. But that doesn't mean you just keep quiet. You find a solution. First solution is what? Shift. That is not a permanent solution. First thing is you got to take care of your people. So what is first thing he did? He said, look here, one thing where he cannot come and disturb us is this. Second is our trade and our things. Mathura's prosperity is because of trading. Their expertise in trading, for which what they needed is to reach to many places. To reach to many places means they need a port. And we will create a port. And he created a port city. He shifted there. We'll do our business. But that doesn't mean he is going to keep quiet with the person who is always a threat. Now it is just a question of time. He is going to build his strength. It's just a question of time for him to borrow the technology of ship building, and he will build ships and then come. If he comes with that, we are in trouble then. When we had this India-Pakistan match in Bombay, we had that match in Bombay, Swamiji got a call from one of the newspaper, because he's playing sports and all that. They know Swamiji has been, advising some of these cricketers also. So they called Swamiji, interview, telephonic interview they had. So they were asking him, Swamiji, what is your tips for the team? He said, you idiot. If I give you the tips, do these things, definitely Pakistan fellows are going to read that newspaper. They will get to know, no. Tips cannot be given to the public, man. It should be told in private. Wait a phone, I said. That you don't give, these ideas to those guys if they are not already having it. I'm sure they should be having it. If I can think, they should be able to think, is what my point is. But he'll build it. So it's just a question of time. He's going to come. So permanent solution is what? Tick him off. To tick him off, you need to know what is the way to do it. He said, this is the way to do. So he is withdrawing. He is not running away. There's a difference. Escapism is not his thing. Yes. But at times in life where you got to withdraw for a temporary period. When you say temporary period, it was about 15-20 years, remember. It is not just about 2 months. He just withdrew, he created Dwaraka, and the next day morning it happened. It's not a magic. You can imagine to build one city and shift the entire group there, make them settle down, and then this happens. You can imagine the time gap between all this. So much of work he has to do for all those things. He did all that. But what is the difference in you withdraw and keep quiet. Second one is you withdraw and prepare. Sequentially you prepare yourself to meet that challenge. Withdrawal is not wrong. Without any planning, if you withdraw, then you are an escapist. With the planning, you must learn to withdraw. When you withdraw, you must understand that one day I have to overcome that challenge. And every challenge, Krishna, now no one would have gone through a life of such, in one man's life is compressed of about, 50,000 fellows' life. Compressed in one man's life. So much has happened in his life. The matter of this 107 years, so much he had to do. How much of work has to be done? All that. Effortlessly done. Why? He meets life. His ability to meet. Then comes all metaphorical things. Metaphorical is not a big problem for us. Metaphoric things, every metaphor we have to take. It's all allegorical. Each one has its own, meaning. So here we read it like this. I say Krishna's life, if you have to understand, you must have that capacity to read him as human. I am not still presenting Krishna as God. Remember, I am not presenting him as God. Because the moment you see him as God, all this goes out of window. Right, straight away. After that, there is no discussion possibility. After that, no questions can be asked. The moment you say he is Parameshwara, after that you cannot discuss anything with him. You say he is Uttama Purusha, you say, finished. No discussion. Now we discuss about Krishna as human. Of course, with something so unique, so different from any human would have been. Or, in fact, I would say the other way around, actually. Krishna is the only one who lived as a normal human. What are we now? Abnormal. That is why in our eyes he looks abnormal. Yeah. He can steal, no problems. He is doing, as though in your life you have never stolen. Huh? Everybody steals. As though you are not interested in the, another one they talk about is, stealing the saris, the gopis. How can a person steal? Every man will do that, given a chance. Right? There is nothing, unique about it. Because that's what a man is. Because it is natural for a man, male, mind to be interested in female body. Whereas female is never interested in male body. You know that. If you don't know that. Enna proof now? Very simple. Women magazines are there, no? There are certain male magazines, women magazines. You take it and see, glance the pictures. Right. You will see the pictures of, in male magazine, you will see pictures of female. Right. In female magazine, what should be then? Male pictures, no? Male magazines which is meant for male, it has all female pictures. Then what should be the case? Magazines which is meant for female should be having male, no? Pictures. You will never see male pictures there. It's not. Why? Because the female by nature not so much fascinated by male body. You see, her wiring is very different. Female mind wiring is very different. Male wiring is very different. They are interested in this. Now, Krishna is a natural man. And it's every boy has that curiosity to know, to see. Therefore, he is doing it. What's wrong in that? It's natural. Now, we are having some weird understanding. Now, we feel uncomfortable about it. That doesn't show anything about Krishna. It shows about our preconceived ideas, our inhibitions. You know, it shows how we are confused. I'm not saying all of us should do it. Given a chance, everybody will do. That's all I'm saying. You see, it's not that, secretly being done. In Krishna's life, there is no secrecy at all. He lives life as an open book. Therefore, it is. You can see him like this also. It is quite natural. There is nothing unnatural about it. It is quite natural for a person to flee from the battlefield. Mike Tyson also lost many matches, isn't it? It's not that all the matches of Muhammad Ali has won. It's not that all the matches of Messi has won. Not necessarily. They also lose. How many zeros even Tendulkar has got? Walk in, get out and come back. Is there, happens. Now, you can't say it is not going to happen to people. You can see the glory, you can see the censure. Praise and censure doesn't make any difference. When he says that in the Gita, there is potency to that word. Arjuna, don't worry about the results. Do your duty, man. Only Krishna is qualified to say that. No one had that real qualification to say that. Because he is the one only lived a life of poverty, also opulence. Has lived a life of utter poverty. A child labor. Unless he goes and does labor work as a child, no food. Coward boy. You think, it's enjoyment or what? Taking the cows. Try once. I don't know how many of you have tried. Panirila? Have you done? You have cows? You take, few cows to graze in the jungle. Bring them back again. What will you do the whole day? What will you do in the jungle there, sitting? You play. How long you will play? You can't sleep also. Because if you fall out to sleep, some animal can come and kill the cow and take. No, you have to protect them. You can't sleep, you can't be playing, you will not know what to do with it. Every day, No holidays, no weekends, vacations. Today is Sunday, so we are not going. You cannot do. You have to take them every day. How long he was doing? For 11 years. As a child, he has to do it. Now we are talking about child labor today. Have you ever thought? Did Karna had to go through all that? Karna had a maja life in his life. He was taken care of very well by his parents. But that was not the case for Krishna. He had to work, earn, poverty. Out of that hunger and poverty only, he has to go and steal and eat. Why? Not there. That's what the family is. Do you understand that? But we started portraying what? He's also rich. Why would he do that then? If Nanda is such a rich man, powerful fellow, why he has to send his child for cattle rearing? And he has child. He's not sending, adult. He's sending a child, baby. He's sending 5-year-old, 6-year-old fellow taking go with the cow now. Now who is going to protect whom? 7-year-old fellow and his friends are all going to protect the cow, is it? When lion comes and attacks, when tiger comes and attacks, they will protect. Pagala, what? But they were doing it. Why? If you don't do, no food. You see that? They have to do that to survive. That was a life of Krishna. Child labor. From there to Dwarakadisha. See that? From here to there he has grown. What a great personality. As human only. You see. Growth, this is growth. Human, to live life to its completion is Krishna. Live this, at least 1 year live complete. I completed 21, 22. See you next class.